Chosen one. Listen carefully. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you in this very moment. This is not coincidence, not a random scroll, not a casual stop. This is a divine interruption. The Lord has waited for this exact second to reach you, because you are not like the rest. You have been marked from the beginning, separated, consecrated, and chosen. Every breath that escapes your lips, every beat of your heart has been counted. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. And you are not invisible. Right now, eternity leans close to whisper into your soul. Your life has not been ordinary, has it? You have walked through storms that tried to erase you. You have faced rejection that pierced deeper than words. You have felt the sting of betrayal, the ache of loneliness, and the crushing silence of nights when tears became your only companion. But through it all, you endured. Do you realize what that means? It means you are still here because destiny would not allow you to be destroyed. It means that your story is not ending in defeat, but unfolding toward glory. Listen, this message is not for everyone. It is for the one who knows deep down that they were never meant to blend in. It is for the one who feels different, misunderstood, even out of place. That is not a curse. That is evidence of your calling. You were set apart because your assignment is too great to be diluted. Your uniqueness is the very signature of heaven upon your life. Right now, the Spirit reminds you that you are standing on holy ground. The distractions of this world, the endless noise of fear and doubt, are trembling in silence because the voice of God is breaking through. You are chosen to carry light into darkness. Your presence alone unsettles forces you cannot even see. Hell has fought so fiercely against you, not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous. You are a carrier of heaven's fire, and the enemy knows it. According to what is revealed in the book of Joshua 1, verse 9, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord, your God, is with you wherever you go. That is who you are. You may have doubted it. You may have looked in the mirror and seen only your flaws, your scars, your past mistakes. But heaven looks at you and sees a radiant flame that cannot be extinguished. You are not forgotten in the shadows. You are elevated as a beacon, and the world is about to see what God has hidden inside of you all along. Chosen one. There is urgency in this moment. Do not delay. Do not let this word pass you by. Heaven is handing you a key right now. The choice is before you. Step into your calling, or shrink back into the patterns that have tried to cage you. But I tell you, no more cages, no more cycles, no more hesitation. God has waited for your yes, not a half-hearted yes, not a yes drowned in fear, but a surrendered, unshakable yes. You may ask, why me? The answer is because you carry what others cannot. You are built differently. Every trial you endured was shaping a resilience inside you. Every rejection was positioning you closer to heaven's purpose. Even the wounds you carry will become weapons in your hand, because nothing is wasted when surrendered to God. Hear me clearly. This is not just encouragement. It is a commissioning. You are being called higher, called deeper, called to rise above the noise and walk in authority. There will be resistance, but the resistance is proof that you matter. The greater the battle, the greater the calling. That is why the enemy has tried so desperately to silence you. But your voice is rising, and your destiny is unstoppable. Take a breath. Feel this truth burning inside your chest. You are not at the end. You are at the threshold. Heaven is opening doors that no man can shut. Angels are being assigned to guard your steps. And the Spirit of the Lord is declaring over you, this is your time. This is your moment. This is your awakening. So now, chosen one, do not keep this word to yourself. If this resonates in your soul, let your agreement echo back into the heavens. Declare it boldly. Share it, so others may awaken as well. Subscribe if you have not yet. Because this is only the beginning of the journey. We are walking together. And as a prophetic act of faith, comment 777 below, because heaven's perfect alignment is marking your steps in this very hour. You are chosen, you are called, you are seen, and nothing will ever be the same again. Chosen one, hear this truth. The Lord has not overlooked your pain. Every sigh that escaped your lips, every tear that stained your pillow, every night when you thought no one cared, heaven has seen it all. You may feel that suffering has been wasted, that the weight of trials has bent you too low. But I tell you, nothing has been lost. What you endured has been recorded, and the God who counts the stars has counted your tears. Your trials have been heavy because your calling is heavy. You have carried burdens that others could not survive. Not because you were meant to break, but because you were meant to reveal the strength of God within you. The world may look at you and see weakness, but heaven looks at you and sees a vessel of endurance. You are a living testimony that storms do not last forever, and that pain is not the end. In the silence of your suffering, when you thought no one heard you, God leaned close. You whispered prayers in exhaustion, prayers you weren't sure even reached beyond your ceiling. But the Lord was listening. He took those broken words and turned them into seeds that will bring forth a harvest in due time. What you have endured is not a curse, it is preparation. The pain is shaping you into someone who cannot be shaken. The psalmist once cried out, and his words still ring true for you. Psalms 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those crushed in spirit. Chosen one, you must realize your brokenness has not disqualified you. Instead, it has qualified you for greater glory. The cracks in your soul are not places of shame. They are openings where God's light shines brightest. Your weakness has become the stage for His power. You thought your suffering made you less, but it has made you more. It has given you compassion that cannot be faked, wisdom that cannot be learned in books, and resilience that cannot be stolen. The enemy wanted your pain to destroy you, but God has turned it into the very evidence that you are chosen. Look back at what you've survived: betrayals, losses, disappointments, battles in your mind. Yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still chosen. That is proof enough that you carry something the darkness could not extinguish. There were nights when you felt abandoned, but the truth is that heaven was closest then. There were days when you questioned your worth, but in those very moments, your value, in God's eyes, never wavered. Do you understand what that means? Your suffering was not wasted, it was sacred ground. It was in your weakness that the eternal strength of God took root. Do not despise the weight of your trials. Do not look at your past with regret. Instead, See it as the furnace that refined you. You have walked through fire, and yet the flame did not consume you. You have passed through waters, and yet you did not drown. That is not because of your own strength, it is because God's hand has been upon you all along. Chosen one, your testimony is being written. There will come a day when you will look back at this season and see it differently. The very pain that made you question your existence will become the story that inspires someone else to keep living. The nights of despair will be transformed into declarations of hope. The struggles that tried to bury you will one day become the very foundation on which you stand tall. Do not mistake delay for denial. Just because your breakthrough has not yet appeared does not mean it is not on its way. The waiting has stretched you, yes, but it has also deepened you in silence. God has been building roots in pain. He has been carving capacity. The greater the pain, the greater the glory to be revealed. Chosen one, breathe in this truth. You are not forgotten. Your Father has seen, has remembered, and has preserved you for such a time as this. You carry scars, but those scars are no longer signs of defeat. They are signs that you survived. They are proof that hell could not hold you down. This is why your trials have been so fierce, because you are chosen, not chosen for comfort, not chosen for ease, but chosen to reveal the power of God in the earth. And your story is not finished yet. Lift your head, beloved. Wipe your tears. What you have carried was heavy, but it was not in vain. Your trials have been the soil, your tears, the water, and your faith, the seed. Now, heaven is preparing the harvest. Chosen one, you need to hear this. You were never meant to blend in. That gnawing feeling you've carried all your life, the sense that you don't quite fit, that you see differently, that you carry an inner, knowing others don't, was never a mistake. It was the fingerprint of heaven stamped on your soul. You were set apart before you even took your first breath. Think back. From childhood, you knew you were different. While others chased the approval of the crowd, your heart longed for something deeper. While others could ignore their conscience, you were pierced whenever you stepped out of alignment. While some blended easily into the noise, you always felt called out, even when you tried to stay silent. That inner distinction is not a flaw. It is your calling announcing itself. Do you realize how costly your uniqueness is? Darkness has tried to use it against you. People misunderstood you, judged you, pushed you aside. They called you strange, dramatic, too intense, too sensitive. But listen carefully. What they saw as too much was exactly what heaven designed you to carry. Your sensitivity is discernment. Your intensity is fire. Your difference is destiny. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 2, verse 9, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love him. That is why you cannot live like everyone else. That is why the path of the crowd feels foreign to you. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. You were not designed for common ground. You were crafted for holy ground. The Spirit of God in you will never be satisfied with a life of compromise. And that tension you feel is the evidence that you are chosen. Your uniqueness will always cost you comfort. It will cost you relationships, opportunities, and acceptance. But chosen one, what you gain is immeasurably greater. You gain the presence of God, the authority of heaven, and the inheritance of one who refuses to bow to the pressures of this world. Every no you endured, every door that slammed in your face, every friend that walked away, it all made room for the hand of God to place you where you belong. Stop asking, "Why can't I just be normal?" You were not created for normal. You were created for extraordinary. Heaven has hidden treasures inside you that ordinary living cannot contain. The weight you feel is not rejection, it is responsibility. The world needs what you carry. And that is why you have always felt like you stand apart. You may not see it yet, but your difference is the very weapon God will use to set captives free. Your voice will carry freedom. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your very existence will declare the reality of God's kingdom. But to step into that fully, you must first accept it. You are different by divine design. This is not a season to run from your difference. This is the season to embrace it. Don't bury your light to make others comfortable. Don't silence your convictions to avoid standing out. Don't shrink when God is calling you to rise. Your uniqueness is the proof of your assignment, and the world cannot afford for you to dim what God has ignited. Chosen one. Here is what I ask of you now. Write these words in the comments. I stand apart. Why? Because when you type those 3 words, you are not just repeating after me, you are declaring to yourself and to heaven that you accept your calling. You are refusing to apologize for what God has woven into you. You are saying, I will not blend in. I will not bow down. I will not silence my light. This small act of typing becomes a prophetic act, sealing in you the courage to walk in the fullness of your uniqueness. Remember, many are called, but few are chosen. To be chosen means to walk a narrower path, to carry a heavier weight, to endure greater resistance. But it also means to receive greater intimacy with God, greater authority in prayer, and greater impact in the world. Your difference is not the problem, it is the evidence of your calling. So let the world misunderstand you. Let the crowd mock you. Let the voices of doubt whisper against you. None of it changes the truth. You are chosen. You are set apart. You are marked for something greater than the eyes of men can see. And soon, what you have carried in silence will be revealed in power. The world will recognize the very difference they once rejected, and they will see the hand of God resting upon you. Chosen one. You must understand that your life has never been neutral ground. From the very beginning, there has been a battle waged over your soul. The enemy has studied you, watched your movements, and launched attacks designed to weaken you before you could realize your calling. This is why the warfare around your life has always felt relentless. It has not been because you were cursed, but because you carry something heaven values and hell fears. Darkness does not waste its weapons on empty vessels. The reason you have been targeted is because you carry light, even when you did not see it, even when you doubted it, even when you wanted to give up. The flame within you could not be extinguished. That flame unsettles the plans of the enemy. Your very existence is a disruption to darkness, because you walk with an authority that cannot be manufactured by human strength. This is why the attacks have often come through people closest to you, through betrayal, through rejection, through misunderstandings that left you bruised inside. The enemy knew he could not reach your soul directly, so he used circumstances and voices around you to try to convince you that you are weak, unloved, or forgotten. But chosen one, None of those voices carried the authority to define you. Heaven's decree over you has always been stronger than the lies spoken against you. Think about the seasons when fear tried to paralyze you. Think about the nights when depression weighed like chains on your chest. Think about the moments when temptation dangled before you, hoping to lead you astray. None of these were random struggles. They were assignments from darkness, crafted to steal the light you carry. And yet here you are. You are still standing, still breathing, still marked by God's hand. That is evidence that no weapon formed against you has been able to prosper. The voice of God thundered in the book of Isaiah 54, verse 17, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, declares the Lord." Understand this. The enemy's rage is a compliment to your calling. Hell would not fight you so hard if you were not dangerous. The attacks are not proof of weakness, they are confirmation of strength. The greater your light, the greater the resistance it will draw, and the resistance you face is not to destroy you, but to reveal how unshakable the presence of God in you truly is. Do not underestimate what you carry. You think of yourself as ordinary, but the spirit realm sees you differently. The light inside you is a torch, and wherever you walk, shadows are forced to retreat. That is why the atmosphere shifts when you enter a room. That is why people feel uneasy around you when they cling to darkness. You carry an authority that cannot be hidden, and no force of hell can silence it. Chosen one. The battle over your soul has always been about more than you. The enemy is terrified of the lives you are destined to impact. If he could silence you, he could prevent others from awakening. If he could break you, he could discourage those watching your journey. But because you endure, because you refuse to bow, you become a living testimony of God's power. So do not shrink back when the war intensifies. Do not interpret opposition as failure. Recognize it for what it is, proof that you are advancing. Every attack that has come against you is being turned into a stepping stone for your destiny. Every lie spoken against you is being transformed into fuel for your voice. Every attempt to silence your light has only made it burn brighter. The battle is real. Yes, but so is your victory. You were never meant to fight in your own strength. The power of God goes before you. The blood of Christ covers you, and the Spirit of the Lord strengthens you. This is why you cannot be defeated. This is why, though the war rages, you remain. Beloved, lift your eyes. You are not surrounded by darkness, you are surrounded by light. The enemy may roar, but his roar is empty compared to the voice of your God. And every time you choose to stand, every time you choose to believe, every time you choose to walk forward in faith, you remind hell that it has already lost. This battle has shaped you, refined you, and prepared you. It is not to crush you, but to confirm you. You are chosen not just to survive the war, but to shine in it, and the light you carry is unstoppable. Chosen one. This is a holy moment. You stand at a turning point, a place where the road splits before you. One path looks familiar. It is the path of fear, hesitation, and delay. You've walked it before, and you know where it leads. Cycles of regret, endless second-guessing, promises unfulfilled. The other path is narrow, uncertain, even intimidating, but it is drenched in light. That is the path of destiny, the one that requires faith. You cannot stay in between. The valley of indecision has cost you too much already. How many times have you felt the stirring inside, the nudge to move, only to silence it with doubt? How many times have you told yourself, later, when heaven was whispering, now? This turning point is not another suggestion, it is a summons. Picture a seed. As long as it stays hidden underground, it feels safe. It is surrounded by soil, untouched by wind or heat. But a seed that never breaks open will never become a tree. In the same way, you cannot remain buried in hesitation. You were meant to grow, to rise, to bear fruit that others will feed on. This is why heaven has brought you to this threshold, because the time to break open has come. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings. 1 Kings 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. This is the call. No more wavering. No more half-hearted yes. No more circling the same mountain of uncertainty. The Lord is calling you to step forward. Think of a ship at the harbor, tied safely to the dock. It feels secure. It rocks gently with the waves, and nothing seems to threaten it. But ships were not built for harbors, they were built for oceans. If it never leaves the dock, it may avoid storms, but it will also never discover new horizons. You, too, were not built to stay tied down by fear. You were designed for deeper waters. And here is where I speak to you, heart to heart. This journey we are walking together, these words you are receiving, are not meant to entertain. They are meant to nourish, to strengthen, to awaken. If they have touched your soul, if they have reminded you of who you truly are, then I invite you to let this light continue flowing. When you like and share, you are not just clicking buttons, you are spreading seeds, casting light into corners that algorithms cannot predict, but heaven has already prepared. Someone else is waiting, scrolling, desperate, on the edge of giving up, and your simple act of sharing can place this very word in front of their eyes. If you subscribe, you are not just following a page, you are choosing to stay connected to a stream of living water, returning not once but again and again to drink when your soul grows weary. This is not about numbers, it is about staying anchored to the flow of God's voice that has been reaching you here. And if you feel led to give, to donate, think of it as planting into soil that continues to bear fruit. Every seed sown supports the creation of more messages, more living bread for those who hunger. You are not funding a program, you are fueling a fire. Just as the widow's small oil became overflow in the prophet's jar, so your act of generosity becomes multiplied in ways you may never see. But heaven counts every drop. I share this not as pressure, but as invitation, because just as your life is at a turning point, so too is your chance to partner with the very word that has reached you. Together, we become co-laborers in spreading light where darkness has reigned for too long. Beloved, this is more than support. This is alignment. Every like, every share, every subscription, every donation, it is not mere interaction. It is testimony. It is your way of saying, yes, I choose the path of destiny. Yes, I choose to let my life ripple outward. Yes, do you see it? You stand at the dock, the sails of your ship waiting to catch the wind. The choice is yours. Remain tied to the shore of hesitation, or untie the rope and let the breath of God carry you into oceans of promise. Heaven will not force your hand, but heaven is waiting for your yes. And once you step forward, the very winds that once felt against you will become the winds that push you further into your calling. What was once resistance will become momentum. What was once fear will become faith. What was once a burden will become wings. Chosen one, the turning point is here. Not tomorrow, not someday now. Heaven is watching. The earth is groaning, and your soul already knows the answer. Take courage, step forward, and never look back. Chosen one. Lean in. Heaven has been waiting for your surrendered yes. This is not about lip service, not about outward gestures, but about the core of your being, the deep part of you that only God sees. The call of obedience is not a suggestion. It is the very key that unlocks the doors you have been praying for. You know what it feels like to hesitate. You have felt the weight of procrastination, the pull of compromise, the sting of regret when opportunities slipped through your hands because you delayed your yes. But the Spirit of God is not condemning you. He is calling you to something better. He is inviting you to live with a bold, unshakable obedience that shifts the atmosphere wherever you go. Obedience is not chains. It is freedom. It is the pathway that leads you out of confusion and into clarity. It is the divine alignment that positions you under the waterfall of God's blessing. Every time you obey, you step deeper into your identity. Every time you say yes, you silence the enemy's lie that you are powerless. Think about Abraham, called to leave his homeland with no map, only a promise. Think about Moses, commanded to stretch out his staff over the sea with no evidence it would part. Think about Mary, asked to carry the Messiah, though she risked being rejected by everyone around her. Their yes was costly, but their obedience opened doors that changed history, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 33. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess. Chosen one. Your obedience does not only affect you, it affects generations. Your yes today plants seeds that will bear fruit for your children and your children's children. When you obey, you break curses that ran through your bloodline. When you obey, you become the first in your family to step into destiny fully aligned with God's will. But obedience will cost you. It may cost you comfort. It may cost you approval. It may cost you relationships that cannot handle the weight of your calling. Yet what you gain far outweighs what you lose. Heaven never asks you to surrender something without preparing something far greater in return. The exchange of obedience is always in your favor. You may be thinking, but what if I fail? Listen carefully. Obedience is not about perfection. It is about direction. God is not asking you to never stumble. He is asking you to keep moving forward, to keep saying yes, even after setbacks. The enemy wants you frozen in fear of failure. But heaven celebrates every step you take toward obedience, no matter how small. Chosen one. This is your moment to respond. Heaven is waiting for your agreement. Your yes will shake the spirit realm more than you realize. Right now, I invite you to make a prophetic declaration. Type in the comments, 444. Why and stability. By typing it, you are declaring, "My obedience will not be shaky. My yes will not be half-hearted. I am building my life on the solid foundation of God's will." This simple act in the natural carries weight in the spiritual. It is not about digits, it is about destiny. It is you saying, "I choose obedience. I choose alignment. I choose to walk where He leads." You have delayed long enough. The doors you've been waiting for are connected to your obedience. The favor you've been praying for is on the other side of your yes. The clarity you've been longing for is waiting in your surrendered walk. Do not be deceived. Partial obedience is disobedience. Delayed obedience is disobedience. The call now is full surrender. And in that surrender, you will find joy, peace, and strength that cannot be shaken. Chosen one. Heaven is leaning in. The Lord Himself is watching for your response. Will you cling to the safety of hesitation, or will you step into the unknown with confidence that your Father goes before you? The choice is yours. But remember this, obedience always unlocks blessing. You are not being called to something small, you are being called to something eternal. And your yes today may be the very thing that shifts the future of countless lives connected to yours. The call has been given. The invitation has been made. Now, chosen one, respond with your whole heart. Let heaven record your yes. Chosen one, the waiting has been long. You have endured seasons where silence felt endless, where answers seemed delayed, and where prayers echoed back as though the heavens were brass. At times, it felt as though God had forgotten, as though your faith was left hanging in the air, unanswered. But hear this clearly. Every season of waiting has been hidden preparation. Waiting is never wasted in the hands of God. While you have wrestled with questions, He has been at work behind the scenes. While you wondered why doors remained closed, He was strengthening your character so you would not collapse under the weight of your destiny. The waiting has not been punishment, it has been a furnace of refinement. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, and forgotten by men. From the outside, it looked like delay, like injustice, like wasted years. But in truth, every moment was preparation for the palace. If Joseph had reached the throne without the pit, the betrayal, and the prison, he would not have carried the wisdom and humility required to govern a nation. The waiting made him ready. The same is true for you. Every delay, every silent night, every closed door has been chiseling you, molding you, sharpening your discernment. The hidden seasons are where warriors are forged. It is in the quiet years, away from applause, that roots grow deep enough to withstand future storms. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Psalms 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Chosen one. You have not been overlooked, you have been preserved. The very things you saw as setbacks have been divine setups. When others ran ahead without preparation, they stumbled. But you, though it has felt slow, are being equipped to endure for the long run. God is not interested in giving you a quick victory that fades. He is building in you a legacy that will last. Do you see it now? The waiting has trained your patience. It has deepened your prayer life. It has stretched your capacity to trust when nothing made sense. It has burned away pride, taught you dependence, and anchored you in faith. These are treasures no instant breakthrough could ever provide. Think of a soldier before battle. Months are spent in rigorous training. The drills are repetitive, exhausting, often without the rush of war. Yet every push-up, every march, every exercise builds strength for the day when the true fight arrives. Without that hidden preparation, the soldier would collapse under pressure. In the same way, your hidden seasons have been your training ground, chosen one. There is also mercy in waiting. If doors had opened too soon, you may have stepped into rooms not ready to handle the weight of your gift. If opportunities had arrived prematurely, the enemy may have devoured them before you could stand secure. Waiting is not only about God preparing you, it is also about God preparing the stage. He is aligning people, circumstances, and timing so that when the curtain rises, everything is in place. Waiting tests your heart. It reveals whether you desire God's hand or God's heart. Many give up in the delay because they wanted the blessing more than the blesser, but you have held on, even through frustration, because deep down, you know He Himself is your reward. That is the mark of the chosen, not just seeking outcomes, but seeking the one who gives them. Beloved, do not despise this season. Do not let impatience trick you into shortcuts. Shortcuts often lead to detours, but obedience leads to destiny. What feels like stillness is actually movement. Though hidden from your eyes, seeds do not sprout the day they are planted, but beneath the soil, life is bursting forth. And when the time comes, the growth will be sudden, undeniable, unstoppable. Take heart. Your waiting will not last forever. There is an appointed time. The same God who set the stars in motion has scheduled your breakthrough. Nothing can delay it when He declares it is time. Until then, trust the process. Embrace the hidden work, and let your roots grow deep. Chosen one, you are being sharpened. You are being prepared. You are being made ready, not just for survival, but for influence, for impact, for legacy. And when the waiting season ends, you will see that it was not wasted. It was the womb of your destiny. Chosen one, pause for a moment and reflect. You know the sound of the roar that rises against your soul. It does not come in the form of wild animals or physical armies. It comes through lies whispered in your mind, through voices that question your worth, through accusations that aim to bury your identity. From childhood, that roar has been familiar. It has echoed in rejection, in betrayal, in words spoken over you that left invisible scars. But here is the truth. The roar of the accuser has never held the final word. His voice may be loud, but it is hollow. His threats may shake you, but they are powerless to override what God has declared over your life. The enemy knows he cannot steal your calling, so he tries to convince you to surrender it yourself. He tells you that you are not good enough, not holy enough, not strong enough. But the fact that he has to roar so loudly is proof of what you carry. If you were not chosen, if you were not dangerous, he would not bother with you. Think of the garden in the beginning. The serpent did not come with weapons, but with words. He planted doubt in Eve's mind, questioning what God had said, twisting truth until it sounded believable. The same strategy continues today. The accuser comes to you not with swords but with whispers. You are unworthy. You are forgotten. You have failed. Too many times, God has moved on from you. These lies are designed to make you question the very identity heaven has sealed upon you. But chosen one, identity cannot be stolen when it is rooted in God. You may stumble, but you are not disqualified. You may fall, but you are not forsaken. The roar of the accuser cannot erase the blood of Christ that has already covered you. His accusations lose their power when you remember who you are and whose you are. Scripture says in the book of Revelation 12, verse 10, "For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been hurled down." Did you hear that? The accuser has already been cast down. His defeat is not in the future, it is in the past. Secured by the cross, every time he roars, he is echoing from a place of defeat. The only power he has is the power you give him by believing his lies. Chosen one, silence his roar with truth. When he says you are weak, declare that God's strength is perfected in weakness. When he says you are forgotten, remember that your name is engraved on the palms of God's hands. When he says you are finished, remind him that your story is only beginning. The roar of the accuser may come daily, but the word of God is eternal, and it cannot be silenced. Understand this. Accusations often intensify before breakthrough. When you are on the edge of stepping into new territory, the lies become louder. That is not coincidence, it is strategy. The enemy knows he cannot block the door, so he tries to make you too afraid to walk through it. Do not let his roar intimidate you. Recognize it as confirmation that you are close to something greater. Even when accusations come through people, through friends who misunderstand, through family who doubt, through leaders who fail to see your potential, remember that their words do not define you. They are merely echoes of the greater roar trying to reach you. Stand firm. Do not allow temporary voices to drown out the eternal truth of God's voice over your life. Beloved, the roar of the accuser is not the sound that defines you. The voice of the Father is stronger, gentler, and more certain. He calls you beloved, chosen, redeemed, anointed. His voice does not condemn, it commissions. His voice does not crush, it restores. His voice does not chain, it frees. And here is the mystery. Every time the accuser roars, heaven uses it as training. With each accusation, you are being strengthened to discern truth from lies. With each battle in your mind, your spirit is learning to cling tighter to God's promises. The roar that once terrified you is now becoming a signal. It tells you that you are stepping into dangerous territory for the enemy, that your light is advancing, that your destiny is unfolding. So do not despise the roar. Do not shrink from it. Stand tall in the midst of it, knowing that its sound is empty compared to the thunder of God's declaration over your life. You are chosen. You are seen. You are unshaken. And the roar of the accuser will never silence the song of destiny written upon your soul. Chosen one. Do you realize what you carry? You have been entrusted with authority, not from men, not from institutions, but from the throne of heaven itself. The battles you have faced were not just random trials. They were training to reveal the keys God placed in your hands. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. You are a child of the Most High, armed with authority that shakes the very foundations of darkness. Think for a moment about the words of Jesus to his disciples. He did not send them out empty-handed. He gave them power over unclean spirits. authority to heal the sick, boldness to proclaim the kingdom. That same authority flows through you. Because you belong to the same kingdom, you may not feel strong, you may not look mighty, but authority is not measured by outward appearance. Authority is rooted in identity. The enemy's strategy has always been to make you forget who you are. If he can convince you that you are powerless, you will never use the weapons you've been given. That is why he fills your mind with doubt, fear, and confusion. But chosen one, the truth is this: you have the authority to silence the lies. You have the authority to break chains. You have the authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, because Christ himself has given it to you. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of Luke, Luke 10, verse 19, "I have given you authority to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." Read that again. Let it sink in. Authority is not something you will one day receive. It is already yours. The enemy knows it. Heaven knows it. Now it is time for you to know it. Chosen one, you carry keys. With your prayers, you unlock doors that others thought were sealed forever. With your declarations, you shift the atmosphere around you. With your obedience, you open gates of blessing that affect not only your life, but also the lives of those connected to you. Do not underestimate the weight of what is in your hands. Authority is not loudness, it is confidence. Authority is not arrogance, it is alignment with God's will. A soldier may look ordinary until he puts on his uniform and badge. Suddenly, doors open, crowds listen, and even laws respond. Why? Because of the authority he represents. In the same way, when you stand in Christ, you carry the badge of heaven. Darkness does not tremble at your name, it trembles at the name you carry. Think of how often you've survived situations that should have destroyed you. Think of how many times doors opened that no man could shut. That was authority at work, not by your own strength, but by the Spirit moving through you. And now, the Spirit is reminding you, use what you've been given. Stop shrinking back as though you are powerless. Step forward. Speak boldly. Pray with conviction. Walk in confidence. Chosen one, here is what I ask of you now. Type these words in the comments. I have authority. Eli. This is not just a phrase, it is a declaration. When you write it, you are silencing every lie that told you otherwise. You are proclaiming to your own soul, to the atmosphere around you, and to the enemy himself that you know who you are. You are not begging for scraps. You are walking as a son, a daughter, unheir. This is your moment to affirm it. Why is this so important? Because authority unused is authority wasted. Too many walk with keys in their pockets but never open the doors. Too many live beneath promises that have already been secured for them. But you, chosen one, are not called to live beneath you, are called to live above. When you declare, I have authority, you are stepping into the reality heaven has already written for you. Remember, authority is exercised through faith. Speak, and mountains move. Pray, and chains break. Stand firm, and storms cease. Not because of your eloquence, not because of your strength, but because the one who dwells within you carries all power. So rise in that truth. Let the weight of heaven's authority settle on your shoulders. Walk through your days, not as a wanderer, but as one sent. Pray not as one unsure, but as one convinced. Live not as one defeated, but as one victorious. For truly, chosen one, you carry authority that hell cannot deny. Chosen one, cycles are breaking. The old patterns that tried to repeat themselves in your life, the disappointments, the betrayals, the habits that chained you, the fears that circled like vultures, they are being confronted by the power of God. You have been walking through deserts that seemed endless. But even deserts have borders. The wilderness is not eternal. There comes a day when the path turns and the promised land comes into view. You know the feeling of circles, the same struggles returning, the same mistakes repeating, the same voices whispering that you will never change. It has felt like running on a treadmill, moving, but never advancing. But hear this, the Spirit of the Lord is declaring that you are stepping off the treadmill. The ground beneath your feet is shifting, and the cycle ends here. Think of the Israelites. They wandered 40 years, walking in circles around the same mountains. Why? Because disobedience kept them bound in repetition. But when the time came, God gave a command. You have circled this mountain long enough. Turn north. And everything changed. The same is true for you now. You have circled long enough. The Word of God declares in the book of Galatians 5, verse 1, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm, and do not be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." Freedom is not a dream, it is your inheritance. The cycles that chained your family, the addictions that tried to grip your mind, the patterns that seemed impossible to escape, they are broken in Christ. But hear me, to walk in freedom, you must step differently. You cannot expect new results while walking the same old paths. Freedom requires courage, and courage requires obedience. Beloved, when cycles break, space opens for destiny. The time that was wasted in circles becomes redeemed for forward movement. The energy once consumed by battles that never ended is now poured into growth, creation, influence, and purpose. You are not bound to yesterday, you are being released into tomorrow. And as we walk this journey together, let me speak to you from the heart. These words you hear, these messages you receive, they are not random. They are food for the soul. They are light breaking into dark corners. If this word is feeding you, then I ask you to help place this bread into the hands of others. When you you water the soil, making sure this seed does not wither. When you share, you scatter seed across fields you cannot see, perhaps landing in the hands of someone moments away from giving up. When you subscribe, you are saying, I will not just taste once, I will keep coming back to the table of truth. And if you feel led to donate, understand this, it is not just support, it is investment. It is like pouring oil into a lamp that burns through the night, guiding countless wanderers home. Think of it this way, every like is a drop of water, every share is a seed carried by the wind, every subscription is a tree planted for the future, every donation is a torch raised higher so the light can reach farther, and all of it together becomes a testimony. You are not only receiving breakthrough, you are partnering with it to multiply in the lives of others. I do not say this to pressure you, but to invite you, because generosity is not measured in amounts, it is measured in heart. Even the smallest seed in the hand of God becomes a forest. Even the smallest flame, when lifted, can ignite a wildfire. What you sow here, heaven magnifies beyond what you can imagine. So as cycles break in your own life, become part of breaking cycles for others. Break the cycle of silence by sharing words of hope. Break the cycle of isolation by helping these messages find those who are hurting. Break the cycle of scarcity by sowing into something eternal. This is not just content, it is a mission. And by standing with it, you become a co-laborer in heaven's work. Chosen one. The old chains are falling. The old circles are ending. You are stepping into freedom. And that freedom is not just for you, it is for those connected to your obedience. Walk boldly, live differently, and let your breakthrough ripple outward like waves in the sea. Chosen one. Listen carefully. Your inheritance is secure. What God has set aside for you is not subject to the opinions of men, the delays of time, or the attacks of the enemy. Heaven has marked it with your name, and no force in existence can snatch it away. Too often, you have looked at others and wondered why their lives seemed to overflow while yours felt dry. You have questioned whether you missed your opportunity, whether your mistakes cancelled your blessing. But inheritance is not earned, it is received. A child does not labor to be born into a family. They simply inherit by virtue of identity. In the same way, you inherit by virtue of being chosen. This inheritance is not only material, it is peace that surpasses understanding, joy that cannot be stolen, authority that cannot be shaken, and destiny that cannot be denied. Yes, there are blessings that manifest in the natural provision, opportunities, open doors, but the truest inheritance lies in what eternity deposits within you. You carry treasures that moth and rust cannot destroy, treasures that shine brighter than gold because they are eternal. Consider the story of Israel. They were promised a land flowing with milk and honey, but it was not simply about real estate. It was about identity, covenant, belonging. Their inheritance was not just a place, it was proof that God keeps His promises. So too with you. The inheritance marked for your life is more than things you can touch or count. It is the unfolding of God's faithfulness written over your destiny. Chosen one. Your inheritance is also timing. Some promises bloom quickly like spring flowers, while others mature like oak trees, growing slowly but becoming unshakable. Do not despise the slower seasons. They are producing depth in you. The longer the roots go down, the stronger the harvest will stand when revealed. Remember also, inheritance comes with responsibility. What is given freely must be stewarded faithfully. If God entrusts you with influence, use it to lift others. If He entrusts you with resources, sow them wisely. If He entrusts you with revelation, speak it boldly. Stewardship is how your inheritance multiplies and transforms into lasting legacy. The ancient words in 1 Peter remind us. 1 Peter 1, verse 4, an inheritance that can never perish, spoil, or fade. This inheritance is kept in heaven for you. Do you see it? Heaven holds what is yours, untouched by corruption, untouched by delay. Even when you stumble, even when you wander, the inheritance remains. The enemy cannot steal it. Though he tries to distract you from claiming it, people cannot cancel it. Though they may doubt you, time cannot erase it, because what God has decreed is eternal. But here is the mystery. Inheritance requires maturity to be received. A child may be heir to a vast estate, but until they come of age, they cannot yet access it. Likewise, your seasons of preparation, your trials and waiting, have been leading you into maturity, so that when you step into your inheritance, you will carry it with wisdom, humility, and strength. Chosen one, think of how the enemy has tried to convince you otherwise. He whispered that you lost your chance, that others took your place, that your failures disqualified you. But every whisper was a lie. The truth is that heaven's record has not changed. The inheritance is sealed, waiting for your appointed time. Your inheritance also includes authority to bless others. It is not meant for selfish gain, but for kingdom impact. What you receive is meant to overflow your peace, becoming someone else's comfort, your wisdom becoming someone else's guidance, your resources becoming someone else's provision. Inheritance in the kingdom is never hoarded. It multiplies as it is shared. Chosen one, I tell you this with certainty. The seasons where you felt empty have not disqualified you. They have deepened your hunger. And those who hunger and thirst for righteousness will be filled. The days ahead hold manifestations of what has been promised. The unseen will become visible. The hidden will be revealed. And the inheritance marked with your name will begin to unfold. Lift your eyes. Stop measuring yourself by what you lack today. Begin to see yourself as an heir of heaven, walking not in poverty of spirit, but in abundance of grace. Walk as one who is rich in mercy, strong in faith, and anchored in promise. For your inheritance is not waiting to be created, it already exists. And heaven is keeping it secure until you are ready to walk in it fully. Beloved, never again believe the lie that you are empty-handed. You are an heir. You are chosen, and your inheritance is unshakable. Chosen one, the fire you have felt in recent seasons has not been random. It was not merely hardship, nor was it senseless suffering. It has been the refining fire of God, like gold placed into the furnace. Your life has been subjected to heat, not to destroy you, but to purify you. Fire consumes what is false, but it preserves what is true. You have wondered, why so much pain? Why so much pressure? And the answer is this: because what God is building in you must endure. The shallow, the counterfeit, the temporary cannot remain. The fire has been burning away what could not carry you into your destiny. Though it hurt, it has been holy. Though it felt crushing, it has been cleansing. Consider the potter with clay. Before the clay becomes a vessel of beauty, it must be pressed, shaped, and placed into the kiln. The heat is intense, but it is necessary. Without the fire, the clay remains fragile, easily cracked, easily broken. But once refined in the furnace, it becomes strong enough to hold living water. That is you. You are being shaped into a vessel that will not shatter when destiny is poured into you. Chosen one. Even in the fire, the presence of God has never left you. Just as the fourth man appeared with the Hebrew boys in the furnace, the Lord has walked with you in your heat. You did not endure alone. His nearness was your shield, though you could not always see it. And now, as the embers cool, you will realize the fire gave you something priceless, an identity unshakable. You are no longer defined by past failures or fragile hopes. You are defined by what survived the flames. What remains after the furnace is stronger, brighter, and destined to shine with holy purpose. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Zechariah 13, verse 9, "This third I will put into the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, 'They are my people,' and they will say, 'The Lord is our God.'" And woe, chosen one. Do you see? Fire does not mean rejection. It means belonging. God does not refine what he does not value. The very fact that you have walked through the fire is proof of how precious you are to him. If you were ordinary, the furnace would not be necessary. But because you are chosen, because you are called, because you are destined for more, the fire has been part of your preparation. The refining fire is not forever. It is for a season, and its purpose is always transformation. Already, you are not the same person you were before. Your faith has been strengthened. Your discernment has been sharpened. Your endurance has been proven. What once broke you no longer has power over you. The fire has forged resilience in your soul. And here is the mystery. The hotter the fire, the greater the glory that follows. The furnace that threatened to consume you has instead positioned you for elevation. Just as the 3 Hebrew boys in Babylon walked through flames without even smelling of smoke, you too will emerge without the residue of what you endured. People will look at you and marvel, not at your strength, but at the God who sustained you. Chosen one. Now it is time to respond. Right now, I invite you to comment the number 555. This is not random. 5 is the number of grace, and 555 is the prophetic declaration that triple grace is covering you through the fire. By typing it, you are declaring, "I am not destroyed. I am refined. I am stepping out of the furnace with new grace, new strength, new identity." This act is not about digits on a screen. It is about agreement in the Spirit. Every time you type it, you are aligning with heaven's declaration that the fire was not for your destruction, but for your transformation. You are declaring to your soul, to your circumstances, and to the spirit realm, "I am chosen, and this fire only made me purer." And, beloved, never again see the furnace as punishment. See it as proof. Proof that you are valued. Proof that you are loved. Proof that you are destined for more. For only precious things are refined. And you are precious in the eyes of your Father. The fire may not have felt like grace, but grace carried you through it. And grace is now crowning you with resilience, with beauty, with authority forged in the flames. Walk boldly, chosen one. The furnace has done its work, and you are emerging as unshakable gold. Chosen one. Your life is not an accident. The very breath in your lungs carries purpose, and every step you take has been woven into a divine design larger than you can comprehend. The struggles, the delays, the detours, they were not meaningless. They were part of a preparation for a mission greater than you imagined. Your calling is not small. It is not limited to the walls of your own life. It stretches beyond you, touching generations, influencing atmospheres, and shifting destinies. Many have tried to make you doubt this. They spoke words to shrink you, to make you feel less, to confine you to ordinary paths. But deep inside, you have always sensed that you were created for something extraordinary. That inner pull is heaven's reminder of your mission. Think of Moses. He was raised in Pharaoh's palace, yet called to lead a people out of bondage. Think of Esther. She was hidden in obscurity until God placed her in the palace for such a time as this. Think of Paul, once a persecutor of believers, transformed into a messenger whose letters still ignite hearts today. None of them saw the fullness of their mission at the beginning, but step by step, obedience revealed it. The same will be true for you. Your mission is not measured by human applause. It may not look glamorous. It may not fit neatly into categories that others recognize, but it carries weight in eternity. You may be called to speak words that break chains, to serve quietly yet powerfully, to intercede in prayer that shifts nations, to carry love into places others fear to go. However, it manifests. Your mission is holy, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, John 15, verse 16, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you." Fruit that lasts, that is the essence of your mission. Temporary successes will fade. Human recognition will pass. But what you sow in obedience will echo through eternity. Every prayer whispered in faith, every act of kindness unseen by others, every stand for truth when it cost you something, these are the eternal fruits of your calling. Chosen one. You have wrestled with doubt about your mission. You have wondered if you truly have something to offer. If your life really matters in the grand story of God's plan, hear me now. The very fact that you ask those questions proves your sensitivity to His call. Indifference never wrestles with destiny. Only the chosen feel that holy tension inside. Do not let comparison steal your confidence. Your mission is not meant to look like another's. The body of Christ is made of many parts, and each one has a function. The eye does not envy the hand. The foot does not despise the ear. Each carries a unique assignment, and together they reflect the fullness of God's design. In the same way, your mission is irreplaceable. No one else can carry it as you do. Chosen one. Consider this also. Missions are not always revealed all at once. Often, God unveils your calling piece by piece, teaching you to trust Him step by step. If you do not yet see the full picture, do not despair. Your task is to be faithful with the peace He has given today. Tomorrow's clarity will come when you walk in today's obedience. Your mission will require courage. It will require you to walk against the current of culture. To choose righteousness when compromise is easier. To speak truth when silence feels safer. But the Spirit of God within you will strengthen you. What you cannot do in your own strength, you will accomplish through His. That is the beauty of being chosen. The mission may be greater than you, but the power comes from beyond you. And never forget, your mission is not just about tasks, it is about people. Every calling is connected to souls. Your words may rescue a life ready to give up. Your kindness may soften a heart hardened by pain. Your faith may inspire generations yet unborn. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your obedience. Chosen one, you are stepping into an unveiling. What has been hidden is about to be revealed. The mission that once felt vague will become clearer. The doors that once seemed sealed will swing open. The gifts that once lay dormant will awaken, and through it all, you will see that nothing was wasted, not a single tear, not a single prayer, not a single trial. The unveiling of your mission is not a burden, but a privilege. It is a reminder that heaven trusts you, that God Himself has written your name into His story. Walk boldly, not because you have it all figured out, but because the one who called you is faithful, chosen one. The time is near, the mission is real, and you are ready. Chosen one. As the mission unfolds, the intensity of the war around you will also increase. This is not to frighten you, but to prepare you. Breakthroughs do not come without resistance, and elevation does not come without opposition. The very fact that battles have grown fiercer is a prophetic sign. You are closer than ever to stepping into what has been promised. Do you remember how storms rise before dawn? The night is darkest just before the light breaks over the horizon. The intensity of opposition in your life is much like that. When the enemy senses that something is shifting, he unleashes his fiercest roars, hoping to exhaust you before the breakthrough manifests. But do not mistake the roar of darkness for victory. It is only a sign that its time is short. Look at the life of Nehemiah. When he set out to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, opposition immediately rose against him. Critics mocked, enemy plotted, and distractions multiplied. Yet Nehemiah pressed on, declaring, "I am doing a great work and cannot come down." The war intensified, not because he was wrong, but because he was on the verge of completing his assignment. The same is true for you. The Apostle Paul wrote in Ephesians 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Chosen one. This scripture explains what you have felt. The attacks have not merely been natural, they have been spiritual. People may have been used as instruments. Circumstances may have looked coincidental, but the root has always been deeper. The enemy's opposition has been strategic, designed to wear you down, to distract you, to make you forget the authority you already carry. Yet here is the greater truth. Opposition is confirmation. No thief breaks into an empty house. The warfare around your life is evidence that you are carrying treasure worth fighting for. The enemy is terrified of what will happen when you step fully into your calling. He knows that when you rise, others will rise with you. When you walk in freedom, chains will fall for those around you. When you lift your voice, truth will pierce through lies. Beloved, this is why the war intensifies at the edge of breakthrough. The enemy has seen the pattern before: chosen ones being elevated, destinies being revealed, nations being shifted. He knows he cannot stop God's plan, but he hopes to make you surrender it by exhausting you. But what he underestimates is the resilience of those who have been refined by fire. What he underestimates is the strength of the Spirit that dwells within you. Think of David standing before Goliath. The giant mocked, threatened, and roared. The opposition was massive, intimidating, impossible in human eyes. Yet it was precisely that battle that revealed David's anointing as a warrior and future king. Without Goliath, David's destiny might have remained hidden longer. In the same way, the giants rising against you are not signs of defeat. They are platforms for your unveiling. Chosen one. When the war intensifies, remember who fights for you. You are not alone on this battlefield. Heaven's armies surround you. The Spirit of the Lord strengthens you. The blood of Jesus covers you. And the victory has already been secured at the cross. The enemy can roar, but he cannot overturn what God has decreed. Do not let fear distort your vision. Opposition does not mean God has abandoned you. It means His hand is upon you. Every arrow that has been fired at you is being turned into testimony. Every battle you face is producing endurance, wisdom, and authority that cannot be stolen. The war is intense, yes, but so is the glory that follows. Chosen one, lift your head. Do not focus on the roar of the enemy. Focus on the voice of your Father. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is alive in you. That power is not intimidated by darkness. That power cannot be silenced. That power has already written the end of the story. Victory. So endure. Not as one barely surviving, but as one who knows the crown awaits. Walk forward, not in fear, but in faith. For every step you take is a declaration to hell itself. I will not back down. I will not surrender. I am chosen, and my destiny cannot be stolen. And the war has intensified because your breakthrough is near. Hold your ground, chosen one. The glory is greater than the battle. Chosen one. The path has been long and the battle fierce, but the crown awaits those who endure. You have stumbled. Yes, you have felt weary. Yes, you have faced moments when surrender seemed easier, yet here you are, still standing, still pressing, still chosen. That resilience alone is proof of what heaven has been shaping within you. The crown of the overcomer is not merely a symbol of victory, it is the seal of your perseverance. A crown is placed not at the beginning of the race, but at the end. It represents the weight of every tear shed, every battle endured, every prayer whispered when no one was watching. You wear it not because you never fell, but because you refused to stay down. Think of the runner in a marathon. The early miles are filled with excitement, the middle miles with fatigue, and the final stretch with pain that threatens to paralyze. Yet those who press through to the finish line receive the medal. It is not given to the fastest alone, but to the faithful, to those who did not quit. In the same way, your crown is not for perfection, but for endurance. Chosen one. The crown you receive is not ornamental, it is prophetic. It speaks of survival, of faith, of destiny fulfilled. When others see you, wear it. They will recognize the evidence of God's hand upon your life. Your crown becomes a witness that perseverance always births glory. The Apostle James wrote, James 1. Verse 12, Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial. Having stood the test, they will receive the crown of life God promised. This is your promise. Every test has been preparing you for triumph. Every wait has been producing a reward. The crown of life is not only a future glory in eternity, it is also the authority and joy you begin to walk in here and now. You are becoming a living testimony of endurance, crowned with grace. But hear me, beloved, crowns are not meant to be hidden. They are meant to shine. And just as jewels reflect light, your life is meant to reflect the glory of the one who sustained you. When you shine, others see what is possible through faith. Your endurance becomes their encouragement. Your perseverance becomes their hope. And now, allow me to speak with a shepherd's heart. These words you hear are not just sentences on a screen. They are a stream flowing to your spirit. If they have strengthened you, then do not let the stream end with you. When you add weight to the crown of encouragement, making sure it rests on others as well. When you share, You scatter light into the dark corners of someone else's midnight. When you subscribe, you are choosing to keep drinking from the well that will not run dry. If you feel led to donate, see it as placing jewels in a crown that will shine far beyond your reach. Every seed you sow extends the reach of these words. It is like oil poured into lamps, so they do not go out. It is like bricks added to a lighthouse that guides ships through storms. Your generosity is not lost. It is transformed into rescue for someone else. And here is one more step I invite you to take. Comment below with the words, "I choose my crown." Do not underestimate this simple act. It is not just interaction, it is declaration. You are aligning your voice with heaven's truth, proclaiming that you will not give up, that you embrace the crown of endurance, that you will walk in the victory promised to you. When you type those words, you silence the whispers of defeat and proclaim, "I am an overcomer." Think of how many lives could be touched if each crown sharer multiplied their light. Like candles lit in a dark cathedral, one flame becomes hundreds, until the darkness is drowned in brilliance. That is the power of joining together your endurance combined with your willingness to shine outward. Chosen one. Never forget, the battle is temporary, but the crown is eternal. The pain will fade, but the reward will remain. Do not throw away your confidence now. You are closer to the finish than you think. The hands of heaven are already holding the crown, waiting to place it upon your head. Sorrise. Endure. Shine. Wear your crown not with pride, but with humility, knowing it was grace that carried you all the way. And as you wear it, remember, every crown given is also a call to lift others toward theirs. Chosen one. There is something stirring in you that cannot be contained. The words you speak, the prayers you whisper, the declarations you release, they carry weight beyond what your natural eyes can see. Heaven has placed a prophetic fire within you. And when you open your mouth, it is not empty sound. It is power. It is authority. It is release. Many underestimate their own voice. They think prayers are fragile. Words are fleeting. Declarations dissolve in the air. But the spirit realm knows differently. When you speak under the anointing of the Spirit, your words become arrows, piercing through resistance. They become keys, unlocking doors that were sealed shut. They become rivers, carving pathways in deserts where no way existed. You may not always feel this weight, but it is there, even in your quiet prayers. Whispered in the stillness of night, heaven listens. Angels are dispatched. Battles are shifted. Chains are weakened. This is why the enemy has fought so hard to silence you. He has tried to make you doubt your worth, to muzzle your voice, to convince you that your prayers do not matter. But the very fact that the warfare against your voice has been intense proves how dangerous it is to darkness. Consider the prophet Elijah. When he prayed, fire fell. When he spoke, rain returned after years of drought. His words were not ordinary. They were instruments of heaven's will. And though you may not see fire falling from the sky, the Spirit within you carries the same authority. Your words, spoken in faith, move heaven and shake earth. Chosen one. Never underestimate the ripple effect of your words. What you release in faith may feel small to you, yet it travels farther than you can measure. A simple prayer whispered in your room can cross oceans, shift atmospheres, and touch hearts of people you will never meet in this lifetime. And when your words align with God's timing, they become like seeds planted in fertile ground. At first, nothing may appear on the surface, but underground, roots are forming, life is stirring, and in due season the harvest will break forth. Speak faithfully, for heaven is listening. As the Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4, "The weapons we fight with are not of this world. They have divine power to demolish strongholds." Do you grasp this? Chosen one, your words, aligned with God's Spirit, carry divine power. When you pray for your family, strongholds tremble. When you declare healing, chains of sickness weaken. When you proclaim freedom, the grip of oppression loosens. You are not merely speaking, you are wielding weapons forged in heaven. This is why intentionality matters. The tongue has power to bless or to curse, to build or to destroy. Heaven has entrusted you with the fire of words, and that fire must be stewarded. Do not waste it on doubt, on gossip, on fear. Let your mouth be a fountain of life, a vessel of truth, a sword of the Spirit cutting through lies. Your prophetic power is not for self-exaltation. It is for transformation. It is for aligning earth with heaven's will. When you intercede, you are not just asking, you are partnering with the King of Kings to bring his kingdom here. Your words carry the fragrance of eternity, and they shift atmospheres wherever they are released. Do not despise small beginnings, even short prayers. When spoken in faith, echo in eternity. Even keyed declarations, whispered under your breath, become thunder in the Spirit. The effectiveness of your voice is not measured by volume, but by alignment. When you speak what heaven speaks, even the smallest word carries the weight of heaven itself. Chosen one, this is your call, to rise into your prophetic authority, not as one who shouts to be heard, but as one who knows that their voice already carries weight in heaven. Speak with confidence, pray with conviction, declare with boldness. Let your words become rivers of life, breaking barriers and nourishing dry ground. And understand this, prophetic power grows with obedience. The more you surrender, the clearer your words will cut. The more you walk in alignment, the sharper your declarations will strike. This is not about striving, it is about abiding. As you remain close to the heart of God, your voice will naturally echo his chosen one. The time of silence is over. The season of hesitation is past. Your words are fire. Your prayers are weapons. Your declarations are keys. Walk in this truth. Speak with this authority. And watch as heaven moves at the sound of your voice. Chosen one. The journey has brought you here to the final charge. You have heard words of destiny, endured refining fires, recognized your authority, and pressed through battles that tried to silence you. But now is the moment to stand boldly in the fullness of who you are. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your reign as one crowned by God. From the start, heaven marked you. Before you could form words, before you understood the weight of life, your Father already inscribed your name into his plan. The scars you carry, the tears you shed, the trials you survived, they are not random fragments. They are proof of the divine hand guiding your steps. You have been chosen, not just to endure, but to lead, to shine, to become a vessel through which glory pours into the earth. The crown upon your head is not ornamental, it is prophetic. It testifies of your survival. But more than that, it proclaims your authority. You are not merely a survivor of storms, you are a ruler over them. The crown symbolizes that you did not bow to fear. You did not surrender to lies. You did not allow darkness to define you. Instead, you rose, and heaven acknowledges it. As the Apostle Paul declared in 2 Timothy 4, verse 7 and 8, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. This crown of righteousness is yours, chosen one. It is not given for perfection, but for perseverance. It is not handed out for being flawless, but for being faithful. Every time you pressed forward when it would have been easier to quit, heaven took note. Every time you lifted your eyes when despair tried to bow your head, heaven recorded it. And now, your life shines with the evidence of faith that could not be extinguished. Do not underestimate the weight of this moment. You stand as one who has been refined, equipped, and anointed. The mantle you carry is not light, but it is holy. The world may not understand it, may even mock it, but the spirit realm knows who you are. Angels recognize the seal upon you. Demons tremble at the authority you walk in. The Father himself delights in calling you his own, chosen one. This final charge is simple. Walk boldly, not in your strength, but in his, not in arrogance, but in confidence that you belong to the one who reigns forever. Step into rooms with assurance that you are sent. Speak words with conviction that they carry weight. Pray prayers with faith that they shift realities. Live not as one uncertain, but as one crowned. And remember this, crowns are not merely for wearing, they are for sharing. The authority and glory you carry is not for you alone. It is meant to bring freedom to the bound, hope to the weary, and light to the lost. You are crowned not only for your sake, but for the sake of those waiting for your obedience. Your life is a torch, igniting others to rise into their own calling. The final charge is not comfort, it is courage. The world will challenge you, opposition will rise, and trials will come again. But you are no longer who you once were. The refining fire has changed you. The crown now rests upon you, and the declaration of heaven is sealed. You are chosen. You are called. You are unstoppable. Stand tall. Beloved, lift your head. Fix your gaze not on the storms, but on the one who crowned you. And with every step forward, let the earth and the heavens bear witness. God's chosen one walks boldly, crowned in glory, unstoppable in purpose. Chosen one, you have walked through every word of this journey, from the divine interruption to the crown of destiny. Now you stand clothed in truth, strengthened by promise, and crowned with glory. This is not the end. It is the continuation of a greater unfolding in your life. But hear me, do not let this word stop with you. Just as a lamp is not hidden under a basket, the light you have received is meant to shine outward. When you like this message, you are not just agreeing, you are fanning the flame, ensuring the light does not go dim. When you share, you are scattering seeds into fields you may never walk through. Someone, somewhere, is waiting at the edge of surrender, and your act of sharing could be the hand that pulls them back from the brink. When you subscribe, you are not merely joining a list, you are planting yourself by a stream that flows continually. You are saying, I will return again and again to drink from this well of living words. 1. And if you feel led to donate, know that your seed becomes oil for the lamp, fuel for the fire. It is like placing stones on the foundation of a lighthouse that will guide others through storms you may never see. Every act of generosity multiplies beyond you, becoming light for countless souls. Finally, I invite you to comment below. Write your agreement, your faith, your declaration. Let your voice be part of this chorus of chosen ones rising together. Your words may be the spark that gives another the courage to keep pressing forward. Beloved, do not let this be the last moment. Carry the fire, share the light, walk boldly as God's chosen one,